You're listening to an African Elements top news story for April 14th, 2025. Please visit our website at africanelements.org for more daily news. Neglected Black Pearl Harbor, sailor ID'd by DPAA in NC Pearl Harbor, Black Sailor Finally Home, After 83 Years by Darius Spearman, African Elements. Imagine waiting 83 years for a loved one to come home. That was the reality for the family of Neil Frye, a young black man who served his country only to become one of the many casualties of the Pearl Harbor attack. Frye, just 20 years old, was a Navy mess attendant, third class aboard the USS West Virginia on that fateful day, December 7, 1941. For decades, his remains lay unidentified, a painful unknown for his family. However, thanks to modern science and persistent efforts, that long wait is finally over. The Defense POW-MIA Accounting Agency achieved a breakthrough using DNA analysis. Frye's remains were officially identified in September 2024. Consequently, he was laid to rest with full military honors on April 3, 2025, a date poignantly chosen as it would have been his 104th birthday. This identification was part of a larger DPAA project initiated in 2017, which involved exhuming the remains of 35 unidentified sailors from the USS West Virginia. Using mitochondrial DNA and anthropological analysis, alongside DNA samples submitted by Frye's family in recent years, the agency was able to make the positive match. Neil Frye enlisted in the Navy in 1940, a time when opportunities for black men in the military were severely limited by racism. He served in the messman branch, a segregated unit primarily composed of African American and Asian sailors. Their designated role was to cook and serve food for white officers. This branch reflected the harsh reality of systemic racism deeply embedded within the U.S. Navy and American society. Black sailors like Frye were barred from combat roles and restricted to service positions considered menial. His family recalled this era grimly, noting that black men were considered second class. Indeed, Navy policy before WWII II actively confined black sailors to the messman branch specifically to maintain segregation and cater to the prejudices of white personnel. Even when the Navy began expanding roles for black sailors in 1942 due to wartime needs, those already in the messman branch were often prevented from transferring, facing continued segregation in living quarters and duties. Consequently, this policy reinforced racist stereotypes by assigning black men to subordinate roles. The identification of Neil Frye highlights the critical work of the Defense POW-MIA Accounting Agency. Its mission is solemn yet vital, to provide the fullest possible accounting for our missing personnel from past conflicts. This involves painstakingly locating, recovering, identifying, and ultimately repatriating the remains of service members like Frye. The process is complex, often involving international negotiations, archaeological fieldwork, and advanced laboratory analysis. For historical cases like Frye's, DPAA relies heavily on forensic science, especially DNA analysis. Mitochondrial DNA, passed down through the maternal line, is particularly valuable because it remains relatively stable over generations and can be extracted from older or degraded remains. Therefore, family reference samples are essential. DPAA actively collaborates with families and institutions like the National WWII Museum, holding briefings across the country to update families and collect these crucial DNA samples. Frye's identification, stemming from the 2017 exhumation and subsequent DNA matching, underscores the importance of this collaborative effort. Frye was one of 9 siblings. For decades, his family held on to hope, even as the chances of finding him seemed slim. His last surviving sibling, 87-year-old Mary Frye McCrimmon, described the news of his identification as emotional but beautiful. The family's persistent engagement with the DPAA, starting around 2014 by attending regional update meetings and providing DNA samples, played a crucial role in this long-awaited closure. This process likely gained momentum through DPAA's outreach initiatives designed to connect with families of the missing. Frye's story is not just about identification, it is also about recognition. Despite serving under discriminatory policies, he was posthumously awarded the Purple Heart Medal and the Combat Action Ribbon in April 2025. His death occurred aboard the USS West Virginia when it sank after being hit by multiple torpedoes and bombs during the attack that claimed roughly 2,000 American lives. His remains were eventually found in the ship's ammunition passageway. Ultimately, Frye's identification connects to broader efforts for social justice, ensuring that Black veterans and other marginalized service members who faced systemic neglect receive the honor they deserve, correcting historical erasures. His story also surfaces amid ongoing discussions about diversity and equity within the military. Copyright African Elements.